time, but it doesn't, no matter what I try and do. In any event, this is Career Search Lunch and Learned, and I'm Linda Brubaker, and I'm happy to be here to be your host. I know that you don't want to be here, and our goal is to be able to provide you with the tips and tricks and support you need to move from this group onto that next forever job. And I'm excited to be joined by Ken Griffey. Oh, excuse Stu Griffey.
You're getting into baseball stuff now. I mean, I'm happy for my
Sorry
Red
about
Sox.
that.
Don't misunderstand, but I don't think I have that athletic ability.
It's already, just one of those days. In any event, by Sue Griffey and Ken Lang, who are going to help you provide the support and resources that you need. We're going to get started in a second with some quick wins, but first I want to tell you just a little bit about me. I'm a human resources professional with over 20 years of HR experience, and both as an HR business partner, a recruiter. I managed recruiters, I've been a hiring manager, and I've been a search consultant. And I bring those years of experience with me to all the work that I do with you now, because I've been a dedicated career search coach, career transitions coach for the last 8 years. And as of this morning, 925 of the people that we've worked with have gotten offers. In fact, I see one of them here who's going to share that offer in just a moment. I'm excited about that. So we're really here. We want to be able to provide you with those tips, tricks, and resources. I do this as my labor of love, trying to share the information I get not only from my experience, but from all the contacts that I have out in the job search world and the career world. I'm always checking with my other coaches, friends, with recruiters, both inside and outside companies, with hiring managers, and doing the research to make sure that we're bringing you the information that really works for you. And I support this work, my only sales pitch, by doing career coaching on the side. And it really does sometimes feel like on the side. But I'm going to put that information in the chat as well. And if any of you would like to work with me, I would love to help you in your search with everything from career search strategy to LinkedIn to your resume to interview prep. I'm doing a lot of interview prep these days. While I'm talking about that, I'm going to put my information in the chat, and I'm going to let Sue and Ken introduce themselves.
Thanks, Linda. I'm like Linda and Ken. I'm happy to be here, even though this isn't the place you want to be. You'd rather be talking to different people. I have to say, Linda, if you made any switch, that Ken Griffey is a riot because no one could pronounce my last name growing up until Ken Griffey came on the baseball scene, which is about all I know about baseball. And don't get me started on the Red Sox. So
Why?
no, I'm not my husband assigns me teams and I get all the Boston teams because I grew up there. But anyway, but Ken reopened my eyes when we were in Detroit with Lisa and Brenda Meller and Christopher Johnson, reopened my eyes to the beauty of the stadia and things like that. So I appreciate that. What I do, Sue Mentors, I'm the mentor with Pom Poms. Sue Mentors is my business where I help people in transition all around the world. I work globally with their needs on professional presence and professional branding. But I bring the pom-poms to celebrate the wins. And when we don't even have pom-poms, I'm noticing everybody tells me, oh, Sue and I have my pom-poms out. This is to remind you that just showing up here is you committing to doing this. But I am going to make a pitch today for something, Linda, I realize we haven't sort of emphasized, and probably Ken and you and I should emphasize it more. And that is, when you leave here today, engage with people while you're here, but take one thing that you're going to do differently from the learning that you're hearing. Because I think sometimes you come here, you get curated information, but you're still getting a lot. You're getting it from Ken, you're getting it from Linda, you're getting it from me, you're getting it from your colleagues and peers here. So I'd ask you that we start to remember to put learning into practice so we can see changes in your LinkedIn profile, see change. We may not see changes in your resume, but that you're actively taking control of your professional development. Okay,
that sounds
enough
like a
on my
great idea.
soapbox.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. On to you, Ken.
Great to be here to support all of you. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of you don't necessarily want to be here, but there's a tremendous amount of support in a network like this. And I presented to Bob McIntosh his group. He has a group in Massachusetts. And I wrote a post today based on some of the learnings, just to kind of piggyback on what Sue said, because if you weren't going to be there, we had a lot of conversations, and I basically said, high level, networking is about conversations. And it's about kind of getting rid of the wording and thinking about things in a little different way, kind of repurposing what you're doing. So my goal is to put as much content out there based on sessions I attend, based on sessions I facilitate. And to be absolutely honest, I'm on hiatus right now from Lee Act Harrison. As of probably a week or so ago. I hope to be going back, but one of the things Lee Act Harrison is doing now is they're changing the way that they're reaching out to job seekers. So while we're kind of trying to figure that out, a lot of us are learning training on a new tool. So, like you, I'm looking for opportunities, although not necessarily at the same level as you are. But I can vouch from personal experience that it can be challenging out there. So, I am still with Lee Act Harrison to some extent, although I've been told to put an out of the office message on there and kind of move people around. That's a whole different discussion, but I'm here to support you in any way that I can. And the best way I can support you is pretty much through my posts. I like to think that if you don't see me, check my posts out, comment on the posts, because the LinkedIn algorithm's again changing. And that's been a process for a while. The AI in LinkedIn is now repurposing what you're putting out there. So that's going to be another post later on. So I'm happy to support and help you all today. And any questions, I'll put my contact information in the chat. Great to be here, everyone. And Linda, take it away.
Thank you. We're about at I was going to ask you about the hiatus message that you mentioned. So
Well, I can speak to that. I mean, there's things I can say and things I can't say. Let,
understood.
let's put it this way. We are all in training now for a tool to help job seekers. The job seeking tool is something we have to walk through, but they're changing what their process is. Basically, I used to review resumes and then would reach back to the job seekers. And now that step is being changed. So it's now going to go through an AI tool. And then we from there, yeah, and we from there are going to be managing what they're looking to do once they get the tool. Most of us in ALHH do not agree with this. This is a corporate decision above our pay grade. So we're just trying to figure out what we can do and not do. So for now, we're on hiatus from looking at resumes, but we're still available for support. That's what I can say publicly. I mean, privately, there's things I want to say, but not going to say.
Later, Ken.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all. So I'm going to open it up now for quick wins. Lisa, you got your hand up. Is that a quick win or do you have a quick question? There you go.
It's a win. It's a win.
Okay.
I sent out a resume like at 9:30 at night the other day and got a call back for the next day. So that's good. And I had the interview
Wow.
yesterday. Yes. So we'll see.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And I wanted to get in quickly because I have to go to another meeting in maybe 10 minutes. I have to
Okay.
leave my home.
Oh,
And then I'll put my question in the
In the-
chat.
great. And what we'll do,
Great.
thank you for reminding us, this is a Q&A session. So if you have questions, please write the word question all in caps in the chat so that way, if for some reason we don't answer it today during the session, we'll get back to you and we will use it as another way of making sure that we get your question answered. Thank you. Good luck with your interview.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. Okay. Hillary from the car. I hope you're not driving.
No, my husband has a cataract surgery, so I'm just in the car instead of in the office. So I had 2 interviews. One, they're with a subcontractor named Softtech for JP Morgan Chase, and I am starting my job as a network engineer on Monday. It's in Jersey City, so it's a little bit of a schlep, a commute, but I'm going to still look because it's a long commute. So I'm going to be still looking and still being active, but anybody who needs help, I'm here to help out and pay back.
Oh, that's fantastic. And by the way, you made a couple of quick points. One of which is anytime you're taking a contract job, you are still looking.
Yep.
Continue to look for the job until you get that next forever job. And a contract job, sorry, folks, is not a forever job. Not that there are any, but
No.
keep your options open, keep those applications going, and let's see how that works. Now, can you share with us, Hillary, how did you find this job?
And this is so funny because I was like, I didn't know, I have a few people that call me out of the blue or send me emails saying, here's this position, that position. They're all like very low paying. This one wasn't. And I didn't know where it came from. And then yesterday, when we were trying to finalize some of the paperwork, I said, and how did you find me? And they said, through Monster. I had updated my resume on Monster, Career Builder, Indeed, Simply Hire, and also LinkedIn. So but I haven't really been using the Monster or the Career Builder because they were really the $20 an hour jobs, which I don't want. So I was very shocked to hear that, but he's been in my court and really proactively helped me to get this job. So I'm very happy about that.
That's great. And I'm really surprised Monster and Career Builder have kind of gone away.
I thought Monster got, or I'm not sure if it was Monster or Career Builder. One of them got chewed up, I thought, and they weren't going to be doing it any longer.
Yeah.
So I
That's
was
one of the reasons
really surprised, but I guess, you throw enough stuff against the wall and something will happen.
Yep.
So,
Sounds. Congratulations. Keep us
Thank
posted.
you.
Yeah, keep looking. Let us know how we can support you.
Thank you.
Jason.
Hi, I actually had a question, Linda, probably for you or Ken, but generally anybody. And I think Aaron Kruger, who's on this call, can very much relate to this, as he and I have had a conversation. I've had, I think, and at this point, 2 different positions that I've applied to months ago, never heard anything back, and if I did, it was a rejection. And then I found out shortly after that that job or those jobs in general that I'm referencing were either relabeled in terms of title and or had a new job ID. So I had gone and reapplied. Same company, it sounded to be the exact same job description. So thoughts on reapplying to a job that has new title and or job ID, and or any advice on if I've previously reached out to somebody in the job description, like if it says reporting to and then the title, and I've reached out to that person, should I reach out to them again if it was retitled and or if there's a new job ID?
So yes and yes.
Yeah.
So here's at least my point of view. My
Mine's-
point of view is when the job is reposted, whether it's a different title, slightly different wording, go ahead and reapply. Different job number, go apply. Okay.
Okay.
You can also reach back out to the hiring manager or whomever your contact is. What I would do is make one quick tweak on your resume for that job, if nothing else. I've updated my resume. Would you please take another look?
Okay.
You can't assume also that your resume was actually seen by someone last time. just
Exactly.
who applied. What I would do is if you're going to send it out, I would probably put within the subject line of the email what the specific job rec is as well. As opposed to like Kenneth Lang's resume follow-up or something that'll definitely get their attention. And otherwise, every little bit helps. I mean, that's my 2 cents as well.
Absolutely. And on your resume, you're titling it for that particular job number, if it has a job number, that particular job title, so that they understand.
I mean, sometimes it could be a different hiring manager than before. You just don't know. You
Right.
don't have a different recruiter, different needs. There's just no way of knowing.
Exactly. So
Right.
nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Yep.
welcome. Okay. David, I know you had a quick win that you wanted to share.
Yes, I found out that my posts got more than 1,000 views over a 7-day period. One of the posts which I made, which described how the Columbus area was growing, where I talked about like current available businesses in certain areas, new businesses that were never going to be added, unexpectedly got reposted by the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, and they said, "He's right. The Columbus area is growing. That's why we're growing." I
That's
didn't expect
perfect.
that to happen, but I'm glad it did.
Absolutely. It gives you visibility, gives them visibility, and it gives you some added credibility, which is fantastic. Congratulations. Any other quick wins? Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands raised. By the way, we're a good sized group, so make sure that if you do have questions, if you have concerns, or you want to make a comment, that you do raise your digital hand, and you can just wave it in the air if you like. We'll keep an eye out for you. You can raise the digital hand from the bottom of the screen, and we've got several people who are looking to make sure that we can see you. Now, Lisa, I know you have to leave, so why don't we bring you up with your question first, if I can find you. Lisa, can you raise your digital hand so we can find you? Are you still here?
It looks like she dropped off already.
Oh, all right. So for Lisa's question, yeah, that's sorry, I have to go. I'll actually respond to that one as well in either a post or in our private group. By the way, we do have a private group. Please join. It's another way of networking with all of us. And since we are trying to connect with one another, many of us still have free accounts, including me. So if you have that free account, or even if you don't, we may have limited number of connection request messages that we can have. If you're copying the chat, you'll see the names. Go ahead and connect with people if you're comfortable without having to have that connection message. It's another way of being involved in what we're doing. And in terms of a private group means that LinkedIn hosts it, but LinkedIn doesn't necessarily see what's there. They can't even see on your profile that you are a member of the group. So anything you post in that group is private. It's another way of asking for networking advice, sharing jobs, getting additional resources, and asking questions. So please do join that group, and please do connect with one another. So Lisa's question, Ken, Sue, do you want to help answer that one as well? And then we'll move on to others.
What was the question? I don't
Oh,
really.
I'm sorry. The question was, read it. So this interview, she had an interview on 9/13, sent a thank you note on 9/15. He
Mhm.
responded with a thanks, we'll be in touch soon. She
Okay.
sent a 30, 90 or 30, 60, 90-day follow-up plan and a reminder that she's interested. Then Rosh Hashanah happened. Tomorrow's Yom Kippur, so that's going to happen as well. But she wants to know what kind of follow-up she should do because she still hasn't heard from them. Sue, do you have any?
My thought is to just one more message saying I know there's been holidays and transitions, just checking in with you and then consider it off is what I would say. The best I can advise, just because he did or she did say we'll be in touch soon. So I think one more time, just checking in is okay.
Yeah, I think soon is hard to quantify because their soon may not be the same soon as yours. But when I'm sending the follow-up, I would remind them about her skills and why she'd be a good fit for the job, not just checking in to see how things going. I mean,
No.
and then again, I'm a big believer in changing the subject lines now too, instead of the generic subject lines, because you want to
Yes.
get their attention.
Right. I agree with you. And what I like to see is in addition, and by the way, this follow-up should be short. Okay, because I'm not going to read it all. So you want 1 or 2 bullet points about why you're a great fit for the job, why you're the right person, but you close with, I'm looking forward to our next conversation,
Mm-hmm.
as
Lovely.
opposed to, you're going to get in touch when you can, I'm really interested. But that says it's the proactive soft close. I'm assuming you're going to get back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then let it go. I would also, in addition, make sure that what you're doing is if this person or the company is posting on LinkedIn, make comments on their posts. That also helps keep you visible. But I agree, the one more outreach and I think you're probably done. Other questions? I know this group has some. What do you think about sending that 30, 60, 90-day plan?
I think it depends on
Yeah, I was going to say.
what the conversation was before that. I wouldn't necessarily attach it immediately just because it can miss the mark, or it can be that they'll think, oh, why did they go to all this work when all I wanted to do was just have an initial conversation with them? So you want to be careful about whatever you send.
Yeah.
I guess if it were me, and I'd had a screening interview, I might, in the thank you, say, here are two different things that I would love to share with you, and give them a choice, and just say, based on our conversation, what I know I could contribute, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't attach them. I would just put out, like Ken was talking about, put out your interest in a way that shows them your expertise. I don't know why I did that.
I would, Steve, I'm starting to think, especially with AI and ChatGPT and everything else like that, I would probably not go into much detail because basically anyone can do that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
it's really taking what you can do personally as opposed to what things like that suggest. And again, the less, less is more. And I think we have to look at it that way.
And I agree. And the other thing is, if you're giving them that full plan, you're giving them free coaching, free consulting on their part.
Absolutely.
So I'm not a fan
Absolutely.
about that at all.
No, me
Yep.
either.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me? I'm off of
I don't
audio.
know who this
Oh.
is.
Oh, this is Cheryl Lynn. For some
Yeah.
reason, I can't see my picture for some reason, but this is Cheryl Lynn. But to Linda, to your and to Ken's point, I completely agree. They're having you work for free for them.
Mhm.
A company I interviewed with a few months ago, they asked me to do a 30, 60, 90, and I asked them to send me their plan because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And if they've been working on something, I want to, add to it. And the plan that they sent me was 4 years old, and it was one page. And they said with that plan, they had not recruited one partner because it was a partner. Oh, here I am. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And they said that they had not recruited one partner with this plan. And the plan was more of like an activity plan, like how many calls a day the partner manager would work to bring in these partners. And because I actually had recruited this company as a partner when I was with Verizon Wireless 13 years ago. And I put together a plan for him at that time. And I just ran it through AI to refresh it. I sent it to him. It was 3 pages long. And we met on it. And he criticized literally every aspect of it. And I kick myself because in my gut, I knew, if they're going to send me a one pager that's 4 years old that they did not get one partner from, why am I doing this? And I spent like 4.5 hours on it. So when somebody asks you about that, yep, Ken, to your point, less is more. Don't invest because basically they just got about $500 of free work from you. So,
Correct.
Yep.
And I also think you have to remember that a 30, 60, 90-day plan is your personal professional input of what you could bring or what you will bring if you're in the job. It is not a plan, not a strategic plan for them. And it has to be informed by where they are at exactly the point they need the help. Now, that doesn't mean you can't look at things online and get ready for an interview and say, for example, in a 30, 60, 90-day plan, I know I could help you hit the mark on X if there's a big goal, contributing in an interview, but that's different from doing the whole document. So it sounds like what he criticized was the usual, we gave you no information, but gave you an assignment and you couldn't do it because they weren't clear, especially if they had a 4-year-old one. But even if they'd sent you a complete plan, that doesn't tell you how this position, unless you talk to them for a long time, is going to fill this, where you could knowledgeably write a decent one. But I think you can always bring it up in an interview as an example.
I'm sorry, the only 30, 60, 90-day plan I would think about is your job search plan, your networking plan. I mean, let's forget about the
That's a good
company. I mean, I don't mean that to be facetious, but you should know on a regular basis, what am I doing now? What am I doing to follow up? What am I going to do differently?
I think that's
I
right.
agree with you, Ken.
Okay.
I think the recommendation from this entire group is do not submit one. If you do, it's what would you do? And in my view, because you don't know enough about the job, even if they ask for one, what you're talking about is how you would go about finding the information in the company, not what that actual plan and what your actual tasks would be in terms of, I'm going to do 30 calls in 30 days.
Well, and that's why I was so surprised because I had a previous working relationship with the CEO, and this was our third interview. And for him to just nitpick and criticize, and I made him a lot of money when I was with Verizon Wireless. But yeah, that's my opinion, just based on my experience. Don't do it. Find a way out of it.
I agree.
Spend 30 minutes on it, not 4.5 hours.
Don't even spend 30 minutes. Okay, thank you. Good luck. Okay,
Thank you.
David, you've got your hand up and then I see Hillary. So David, let me see if I can find you.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Wait, so
Yes.
yes. Who is this? And raise your hand so I can find you.
Oh, this is
Or somebody. I was looking for David Mills. I thought his hand was up. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, no, my
David,
hand's
no,
not
no,
up.
David Spitz.
It was a different
Sorry about that.
David, yeah.
Ron David. So
Hi.
David, can you, if Sue or Ken, if you can find him, can you help me?
Yeah, I was just looking for,
And we also have a question in the chat from Carol Brown when you're
I
ready.
see that.
David
Okay.
Spitz. I see David Spitz in here. I'm going to,
Just add him
You've
to
got
this.
him,
I
Ken?
There you
did,
go.
I did.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my, and Cubby Blue? No?
Yeah, Cubs.
yeah.
Go Cubs. Go Cubs. Go Cubs.
Hey, look, they won
Baseball day.
their playoff game yesterday. I'm okay.
All
Yes.
right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited for the game this afternoon. I just want to provide one little maybe counter about the 90-day plan, because I have been a big proponent of providing success metrics that kind of tie to a 90-day plan. And I complement that with my thank you emails that I send specifically to the hiring manager. I wouldn't send it to HR. I probably wouldn't send it to like a secondary interview, unless it's like maybe like a direct leader of the hiring manager. But I try to tie them around a couple things. Number one is, how quickly can I get acclimated to the job, to the organization? How quickly can I onboard? Because I think a lot of it too is like, hey, we want to hire this person. They have the right skills, but can they ramp up quickly? How quickly can they add value to the job that they're doing? So these 90-day plan kind of bullet points that I share, they tie into that. And it also helps, I want them to also know that I'm thinking a lot about the conversation we just had. I took my notes. I understand the problem that they're trying to solve, why this role needs to be filled, whether it's a new role or not. So I break it out in a way where I'm thinking a lot about, how do I familiarize myself into their operations? How quickly can I start learning about the work that they're doing? How am I going to collaborate and meet people and have those conversations? So to me, I have it kind of built out in a way where it's not cookie cutter necessarily. So I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But if I can find a way to break myself apart from the rest of the candidates and put myself near the top, I think this is something that can have some value.
Yeah, I put in the chat basically there's no one right size fits all answer, Dave. That's why I'm really happy you chimed in, because every situation is different. And I think it's important to recognize that.
I agree. And I would be careful. I like the fact that it's not a cookie cutter approach. Please don't make it too long. Okay, this really truly needs to be short. And you'll tell them that if they'd like it filled out, you're happy to do that in your next conversation. You want to give them a reason to reach back out.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you give it all away, they have no reason to do that. Especially because you haven't had those conversations to know, even though this is important to you, unless you're talking about how you're going to find information, you don't really know what their hot buttons are yet after that first or second conversation. So it's a good start, but make it short.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback.
Absolutely. Okay, I see other people have hands up for questions. I answered Hillary's question in the chat just a moment ago, and then, so Hillary asked, she's taking this contract role. Who does she list on her resume and on her LinkedIn profile? She lists the company that she's doing the work for, not the company who's giving the paycheck. So in other words, she's working for Chase, even though it's through a contract firm. The firm that she lists is Chase. If she wants to say through a contract with, that's fine. But the employer that she wants people to recognize is Chase. Okay. I think, Charles, you were the next one, and then let's.
I think
No.
it was Carol Brown was next.
Oh, Carol Brown. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Carol, can you
she's-
come?
I can read you the question if you
Carol,
want.
are you on
You're
screen?
going to pull her up? Yep.
Yeah.
I'll speak to that. Carl Brown, actually, you pronounce
Carl.
it.
Oh, Carl, I'm sorry. Thank you for
Yeah.
correcting us.
No problem. It's often the most, given the spelling, right, the most commonly pronounced way. Very briefly, I do have a second round interview for a divisional GM role, P&L role.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the initial, yes, yay. Thank you for the pom-pom there, Sue. And I'm inferring from some hints given in the first interview that this will be more about management, leadership style, and those kind of elements. It's in a particular industrial sector that I've not yet worked in, but there's a lot of, dare I use the word, transferable attributes and skills.
Absolutely.
Any particular thoughts on preparation between now and 2:00 Central tomorrow?
I'm happy to jump in and
Oh,
just
please.
say, start first with having at least 2 to 3 examples of transferable skills where it's an important part of the job. People tend to want to say, oh, I'm a great team player. Well, that's not good enough for what the level of the job is. Find your experience stories, rehearse those a little bit so that you're quickly able to prepare and say something, and don't lead with what I call a caveat clause. While I never worked in this sector, I could lead with you as the subject. I'm going back to grammar now, subject, verb, object. I had this experience in an industry so closely aligned with manufacturing. We actually did X and Y. Here's blah, blah, blah. And you want to capture their attention. And they won't focus on it being transferable skill. They'll focus on the success you're talking about.
I mean, I would also go think about from the standpoint of how you save resources, time, save processes without being specific to the industry, but that's transferable too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to have different processes. They're going to have different people, different teams that you've worked with, whether it's on-site, offshore, whatever it is. I mean, like I said, without seeing your resume, I'm just going to, but think about it that way. That's transferable too.
Yes,
Right.
great point.
And if what you're talking about is, do you think they're going to focus in on management style? Management style doesn't matter about the industry.
Right.
Okay. So I would give your stories based on, without even referencing what industry it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, not even referencing the company unless they specifically ask, but talk about how you specifically solved a problem, how you worked with a person, okay, to deal with that leadership, how you were able to bring together groups by mentoring them, ensuring that everybody had an opportunity to talk and giving them those opportunities. Talk about perhaps giving people the freedom to fail, because that's one of the ways that people learn and grow, and how you support people in those ways.
You
One
might
of
also,
the-
I'm sorry, you might also want to ask what their management style is, and then pin that into what you've done. Like, what is the management style of the company? And then you can piggyback on that. Oh, by the way, this is what I've done based on that style.
Right. So you said you've picked up on some of that in previous interviews. Build on that. Every interview you get should be a learning experience for you, for that company. You're hearing what those hot buttons are. You're hearing about their style. Use it. You would be amazed at how many people don't. They come in with pre-prepped questions, pre-prepped answers that have nothing to do with what you've learned before. The other thing is, between now and tomorrow at 2:00, see if you can reach out to somebody who used to be at the company or who is at the company. Doesn't have to be in that role, but find out from them. I'm interviewing with them. Can you tell me a little bit about the culture? What did you like about what you did there and the people you worked with? What did you not? What advice can you give me? Okay, I know it's short notice, but try. You have nothing to lose by trying. Okay, both people who are there and people who are not. And sometimes, honestly, you'll get more honest opinions from people who've already left the company, who've recently left. Okay, so try it both ways. The last thing that I wanted to say to you, Carl, or two last things. One of which is on your on your LinkedIn profile, because your name is unusual in terms of pronunciation, go to your LinkedIn profile on your phone. Enable the pronunciation feature on your name.
I think I've done that, but I'll double check that. Thank you.
But it's a good way of making sure that you're doing it. It's another way of giving people the idea of who you are, okay, because they hear your voice. So it's a great way to do that. And then the last thing, truly the last thing, is that when you're talking about making that switch from one industry to another, if they question, don't ever bring it up unless they question it. If they do, that's an advantage, because what I'm bringing to you is X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to learn the best of what's going on in your industry from you. I'm not coming in with preconceived notions about how it works here. So you turn it into an advantage rather than a disadvantage.
Mhm.
Thank you all for that great feedback. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, Sue, who's next?
Barbara Falk has her hand raised.
Barbara, is your camera on? And then Charles will get to you.
Yep, my camera's on.
Yep, I see it.
Okay. My question is that I've been a consumer marketer like my entire career in the print and digital media world, and I'm done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm trying to use this opportunity to pivot to something that I would rather do that brings me more happiness, more joy, and honestly is not nearly as stressful as what I had been doing. I've been trying to break into like office manager, office administrator, marketing coordinator, and some of the feedback I've been hearing from people is, well, you're overqualified. Well, of course I'm overqualified because I've been working for 38 years in corporate world. Like, yes, I'm overqualified. But I never tell them I'm gonna, I'm overqualified. Or you're just gonna get bored and leave. Or you want my job. And I have so many transferable skills, not only professionally, of having commuted, having worked in an office setting for many years, having been a mom and having to juggle all of that with carpools and meals and where anybody needed to be and homework. And I'm trying to address these things in the cover letter, but I just can't seem to be breaking through. And I know it pays less than what I was making, and I'm fine with that. It's sort of like I'm okay with it. Like I'm not applying just for a stopgap. I'm applying because this is really what I want to do now. And I'm trying to say that clearly. This is what I want to do now.
And I would start with that, or make sure that that's included in your cover letter. I would make sure that's included in your about section. I'm pivoting. I've decided that at this point in my career, here's where I really want to be. I want to be that individual contributor. I want to be doing this so that I can, okay. You can say that right up front. And I think that's a great way of doing it.
You definitely should say it, because there's a tendency from hiring managers, when they see the experience, they're going to assume certain things. They're going to assume you're going to want a lot of money, or they're going to assume if you say you're not going to make much money, that it's a bridge job, or you're going to get bored. So just address the elephant in the room.
Yep. And also make sure that with your resume, Barbara, that the resume you're sending to them highlights what you can do for them.
Now.
What you want to do, as opposed to everything you've done over your 30 years.
Yeah, now versus later. And if you want to take those accomplishments from 30 years ago, put them at the top as a few bullet pointed things, that's fine. I mean, people are going to look you up anyway.
Right.
I mean, what I have is my resume goes back to 2008 because, I know it's like it should go back 15 years, but that job that would have been in 2010 started in 2008.
That's okay.
That's fine.
And my jobs have been in, consumer marketing. And so I don't want to take away from that because I contributed and that's been my life.
That's true, but that's not what I care about. If you keep emphasizing what you've done in the past, I'm only going to look at you for what you've done in the past. I'm going to say you're too qualified. I'm going to say you're going to get bored. What I want to know is what you want to do now for me, what you can do for me. So
how do I put that into a resume, or is that just addressed in the cover letter?
Both.
That's where your accomplishments come in. That's where your statement at the top comes in.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's where those skills come in. You're only going to be talking about those skills and accomplishments that match the new job. Only the new job. And in that professional summary up at the top, excited to move, into such and such a role. Tell them up front that you know what this is, that you're making a conscious
looking to
choice
mentor,
do
looking
this.
to mentor junior staff, looking to share my background and experiences, however you want to quantify
Right.
that in your case. But those are some things I'd suggest.
I agree. Okay. But if you're focusing only on the past, they're only going to see you in the past, even though you say you want something future.
Okay, and then I just had an additional question with that.
Sure.
Something that I'm considering is applying for like internships. Why not? If I'm looking to pivot my career, why not do an internship? But those are often like, well, we're looking for someone in college or just graduated college. Well, you just look at me, I just didn't graduate college, but is that something that companies are going to basically
Well,
say
first
like,
of all, it's not an internship, it's a returnship,
Returnship.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. You could even ask around and see if in the company if they have that, because an internship has a certain perception. A returnship is not the same.
okay,
In
So I
fact,
think
there's
And
an
you're
organization
likely
I
to get a
just got.
salary for that.
Sue, we lost you on screen.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. My internet suddenly cut out apparently.
That's okay.
I
We'll try and
lost
bring
you.
It's okay. Try and bring you
I
back
was
up.
going to say the returnship opportunity, Ken's right. Or Linda, you have to make sure the company has it, but they're more and more popular now, and you're likely to be able to get sort of a salary. It may not be as much as you want, but
yeah,
it's
no,
not
and that's
going to be.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So
but
now,
Linda put the name of one group in there, but just search for the phrase returnship.
Mhm.
Just search and see, because they're basically all company based. Companies have to take them on, and they're more and more popular.
absolutely. In fact, I've had several people take them. Now, some of the returnships, especially if you're going through a place like I Relaunched, are looking for you to have been unemployed for a period of time first. Okay, in addition to making that career switch. But what I like about them is that if you're looking at their listing of jobs, you're also looking at their listing of companies that we know are bringing people back, that we know are supporting people making those kinds of transitions.
Okay.
But doing that look for a returnship, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Charles, you've been waiting a long time. Let's see
Yeah,
what-
I had probably a third round interview, which was great. I got there, that was great. And I tried to ask a clever question that came back and bit me in the tuchus, as we say. And they have a number of positions still open in the same area, but my question sort of bit me with the director or VP of that group, and I'm wondering, is it possible to recover from something like that?
What was
Or
your question?
the company, their security company, they're standing up lots of small data centers, and I was trying to say, are you going to move your identity verification into your data centers for your clients, or are you going, and leverage this build out that you're doing, or are you going to continue to have them return to their company's dedicated hardware? And it's a performance oriented question. It's specific to the industry, but the way I asked it, it came off chunky and confusing, and basically it was like, you don't understand our product. Well, clearly I understood your product enough to get through the previous 3 or 4 rounds, including lunch with the hiring manager. I just sort of fumbled it at the end, and I'm wondering, is it worth trying to go back, or do I need to give it some time, or
How
thoughts?
did they respond?
Yeah, that was my next question.
I had a contact there. He said the way you asked the question demonstrated that you didn't understand our platform, which isn't true. I just stumbled through it and then I was off my footing, and the rest of that call went downhill from there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Unless, how far along in the process are you? You said you've had several interviews. You talked to the hiring manager. Okay.
I had a technical interview. I had an interview with the manager. I had lunch with the manager on top of the interview. And then this was with the sales director for the region and the VP of the engineering team.
Did you ever ask them when you could get back to them or what the next steps were at any of these conversations? Because that might be a good guide.
Yep.
The internal recruiter said everyone liked you until the end. We'll keep your resume on file, but they've decided to go in a different direction. And then my internal contact said, that the way I asked the question showed I didn't understand the
So
platform.
did you send a thank you for the opportunity to have a conversation with you? And I hope you keep me in mind. Rejections are just another way to follow up. I don't know if you-
Absolutely.
Yeah, I did send a thank you.
Okay.
I didn't realize it had gone quite so poorly when I sent the thank you. I got the feedback a couple of days later. I think it's done. I'm just sort of kicking myself
Let's
and
practice for the next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a redirection. It's
Yeah.
not right.
Yeah. It's
We learn from
practice.
everything that we do.
Yep.
it's a new year, so
Sure.
It is a new. You're absolutely right.
We'll go with that.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Charles.
It happens.
But I would, okay, follow up with them on occasion, just if with a new position, or make some comments on their posts as a way of showing that you do understand the industry.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Thank
Okay.
you.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm seeing Sue, is Daniel next?
Yeah, Daniel's next, and then Robin.
Perfect. Hey, Daniel.
Hello, I'm new to this group. I found out about it through Ken Lang. So
Good.
thank you, Ken,
Okay.
for
Thank you,
posting that
Ken.
on LinkedIn.
And welcome.
All right, my question is regarding connecting / communicating with recruiters. I learned at one of the webinars that when you find a job you apply for, you go on the company's LinkedIn and you go in their people and you look for recruiters or talent acquisition. And what I've been doing is just saying, I really like the mission statement of the company. I would love to connect to learn more opportunities there. Now, the thing is, when I've done that, I've already found a job I've applied for. And I send it in terms of connection request. I feel like that's a softer way of connecting rather than as a message. And what I don't know is if I should go ahead and paste in the position posting, the job posting, or if I'm doing the right thing by kind of starting more slowly.
So you already have a job that you're interested in that you applied for?
Yes.
Then I think you're doing yourself a disservice by just saying I'm interested in the mission of the company.
Okay.
Okay. Connection requests are fine. Okay. The companies, I'm excited. I don't know how many, whether you got a free account or a paid account, David.
I got a paid account for now.
Okay. So what that means is that you have additional words that you can use in those connection requests is what I'm going for. Okay. So, but it's not just the mission of the company. You have to be a little more specific. Anybody can say that. That's generic. So what is it specifically about the company? What is it specifically that you do about this position? And I'm really excited. I have applied for such and such a position. Please take a look.
Okay.
Or even do a search on LinkedIn for people within the company that are in HR or something like that. And you have the ability, especially with the premium, to send them messages based on what their profile is. Because again, you can make the assumption that someone's going to actually see your profile or has actually seen what you've done. Where there's so many people out there, it's a differentiator.
Yeah. And I would actually do that if you can I would do it as a LinkedIn message as opposed to a connection request first.
Okay.
Okay. You can send them both, but you want to do that LinkedIn message if you can, because I'm more likely to see that and respond to that than I am necessarily to the connection messages.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. We had more, Sue, and I've lost them.
Robin Mackenzie, I think her last name is. Let me see.
Okay. Robin,
She
are you
put her
still-
hand down. Are you want me to bring her up?
Yes, please.
There you go, Robin.
Hello,
Hopefully
Robin.
you still have a question.
Hi, I wanted to just add an encouragement. Charles was stating his experience. What if you sent something for clarification and if they brought you in 3 times, they definitely think that you're a good fit for their company. Would it be something to consider sending them something just on clarification? I'm sensing there was a disconnect what I was trying to say, what was said and perceived, and I'd just like to offer a little clarification and maybe something short and brief and clear and concise that says, I do understand. And then just I look forward to working with your company at some point because you clearly do. And you know how a comment is not a person. You've already been there 3 times. They value you.
Right.
And so I was just an encouragement statement.
I think the opportunity there is interesting, and it occurred to me when Charles was talking about it.
Mhm.
If it hadn't been for 2 things, one, there's an internal recruiter, so that was the messaging that was coming
Right.
through, and the second is the opportunity you raise. I would have considered doing if he because he met with the hiring manager already. It sounds like it's the VP and the big boss, the last people he interviewed with. Charles, you're sitting here. I'm talking about you as if you're not here, but anyway, thank you.
All good.
It sounds as if it's they sort of made the decision like, oh, we can't have this guy representing us, whatever. But if it had been a little bit sooner or even right after that you realized it didn't quite go that way, I might, without the recruiter involved, I would consider directly messaging the hiring manager and just explaining a little bit. I realized that I didn't come through clearly on how the question should be answered. And I know that it wasn't what I wanted for my best performance with these people, period. No, I could learn it. I can do it, all that, but just an acknowledgement. But it's more about the timing of it. If it had been much closer that you had that feedback, I would say go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I say cut your losses. And that sounds so cut and dried, but it's not going to change anybody's anything except that, oh, he had to have the last word. You know, there are people who will think that of you. We never know what people are thinking about you.
Right.
But I
Okay.
agree with Sue. Okay.
Robin,
I think it's a good
I
idea.
liked your idea. I think, as Sue said, a little too much time has passed. Unfortunately, these are the things that replay in our brains as we move forward and move on. So
Right.
it's therein lies the challenge.
So the way or the place to have made that kind of a comment would have been in the thank you immediately after the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons that I like thank you notes that people forget. It's usually just thanks for the conversation. But it's your chance to re-emphasize something that you said or to correct something that you said.
Yes.
Okay. And to emphasize whatever their hot buttons are. But if you wait too long, you lost the opportunity.
Right. Yep.
Yes, I am.
Excuse me, whoever that is, please mute. Thank
Can I
you.
ask a question?
I'm sorry, who's that?
David Mills, I
It's,
think.
David Mills.
Yes,
Sure.
David.
Yeah. I was just having a brief chat in the chat box about replying to rejection emails, and Ken was weighing in on that. What if you send out your application and then you get back to no thanks? Is it the same, or is it like if you have an interview and then you get rejected, then I can see sending a response. But if it's just send out the application and it's a thanks but no thanks, is it the same, or then you just let it go?
I think it really depends. I mean, if you're going to get the rejection from a job that you applied to and you get the rejection at 3 in the morning on a Sunday,
Mhm.
something like that, then that's not the same thing as when you've had an interview, whether it's a phone screen or an in-person, and
Right.
you're
That
actually
makes
speaking to someone. Because in that case, you're just a number. Now, if it's a job you desperately wanted and you have no idea why you got rejected and you
Mm,
still think you'd be good at, again, every situation's different.
okay.
That's why I mean it's hard to be very general with a lot of the comments that we have, and it's great to have the conversation because it gives us a chance to delve deeper.
Mhm.
At least that's my thought. I don't know if you feel, Sue and Linda, the same way.
Same,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. So when you just get the blanket when you get a rejection and you haven't spoken to anyone, David, you
Yeah.
have nobody to reach out to.
Nobody to reach out to. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
If you have a contact and you want to follow up,
Yeah.
it's as if you are doing it again for the first time.
Mhm. So
Okay.
it's different if you've had an interview and then they decide to move on with other people. But if you just sent your resume out and it went nowhere, then
No.
you'll need to reply.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
especially because you probably don't even have anybody to reply to.
Right, gotcha.
Okay. And you have no additional information. Okay. I know that we're running close to time. So before people start leaving, I want to remind you, I'm going to stay on for a little bit. Okay. So if anybody has an additional question, I'm happy to answer. But before people leave, I want to remind you about the chat. Make sure that you are copying the chat because there's some great information in there, including some answers to some of the questions, some of the feedback and support, as well as lots of URLs that you can connect to people with and so on. So make sure that you're copying the chat. You can do that by going up to the top of the chat box, 3 dots, click Save Chat, and that will save it for you. You can also do it the old-fashioned way. Click anywhere into the chat, hit Control-A, Control-C, and then copy it into a document for yourself. I will put this information into our private group. So I wanted to remind everybody about that private group. Yom Kippur is tomorrow, so I may not get it into the private group right away, but I will get it in at least by the weekend. Okay. So I wanted to make that clear. Any other questions that we can answer while we're here? As a reminder, next week, okay, we're going to be doing resume reviews and tips. So if you've got a resume and you have one quick question about your resume, we're not going to go through all of it. Okay. But if you have one quick question about your resume and you can share it and share the question, we'll be happy to answer we won't be able to get to everybody, I'm afraid, but we'll answer as many of them as we can, and hopefully we'll all learn from each other. Okay. And then the week after that, we have a guest speaker, Dana Zellers, who's going to be talking to us about the importance of networking and how to do that, and talking about how relationships really matter. So Dawn, your question about how far should you go back in years? Dawn, you want to come on, join us? Are you on screen? Can I find you?
I didn't want to come
There
on
she
screen,
is.
but I will for you, Linda.
Oh, no,
I'm here.
Okay, if you want to come on screen, you can. If you don't, you don't.
I'm on.
okay.
So,
Okay.
Dawn, I know that, like many of us, we all have a lot of experience. Okay,
Right.
so what's your specific question about going back in terms of years?
Yeah. So how far back should I go? Because I mean, I had 8 years at this insurance company that I loved a lot, and I just loved my experience there. It's just that I moved. I wanted something different than being in word processing for an insurance company, and I went to another major corporation for more money too, and benefits and things like that. It was from a mid-level to a larger corporation. So, but I hate to like throw away all those years, even though it was a long time ago.
Consider a previous work experience with the company and not list the dates. And if you have accomplishments at those companies, list them at the top under an accomplishment section.
Correct.
Okay,
And
but this is LinkedIn. I meant about my LinkedIn one. Like my
Oh.
resume, I know I'm only tailoring
Your
to
LinkedIn, you go back as
LinkedIn,
far as you want.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's databases, and they won't show it to
Database.
anybody unless we click below your experience. So
Exactly. So don't worry
that's
about
what I
it.
tell people. That's like your full CV LinkedIn, so you can put in
I
everything
mean, I go
there.
back 35 years.
Right back to college.
I
Okay,
do
so
too.
that's what I am. That's what I did do. I
Yeah.
do have that there, but I
Yeah.
worry because like if they look me up on LinkedIn, which of course it's like I do want them to look on there because I have a ton more references there and people that recommended me and things like that.
Probably not
So
going
it's
to go
kind
all
of
the way
like
back.
I feel
You're
like it's a
probably not going
double-edged
to.
sword. I have the URL in my resume and I've tailored my resume to this particular like events, for instance. That's what I've been doing for the past decade, basically almost a decade before they did layoffs. So I want to stay in events. I still really want to do events, but it's been a long time and I really need to work now. So it's been almost a year, and so I could get back into doing administrative work, and that goes back early in my career. So I
Let
guess
me
that's
reassure you, no one except maybe Linda or Ken or me now are going to look way down there. But the
they're not
good
going to
news
scroll
is,
like the Wheel of Fortune and go
the
down.
good news is I checked it out because I gave a presentation on this a few weeks ago. In my
Okay.
full LinkedIn download, there's
Mhm.
evidence of 51 different databases, and that's the ones they let us have access to. So that just shows you the more you put in, the more it's fodder for searches, the more it's a complete view of you. They're not necessarily going to scroll it, but it's going to reinforce in your skills. Remember, in your skills list, it'll say used at this job, used at this job, if
Right.
you've tagged it on your jobs. So there are significant, what I call credible cues, where they look at things and get an image of, oh, she used this in insurance and in events or whatever, who
Okay.
knows?
Okay, good.
So don't overthink it is the message.
All right, because I do have I was there for that LinkedIn one a few weeks ago, and I'm actually rewatching it now because that was such a great
Good.
one, and I made changes. I went back, and that was just the one thing I'm kind of nervous about right now is just the years at this point.
You
I
can't
go
help
back.
those. It
You
doesn't
can't.
matter.
And actually, we're finding out in some cases those years help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
All
don't
right,
worry
great.
about that. Mine goes all the way back to college as well. And
Yeah.
I'll tell
Okay.
you, that's been a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. That's reassuring. I appreciate that. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
Of course. Any other questions?
Thanks, Linda. I got to run.
I understand. Thank you, Sue, for your help.
All right. See you all next week.
Any other questions before we head out for today?
Can I ask a quick one?
Who is this?
My name is Ruben Vabner,
Sure.
V-A-B-N-E-R.
I just want to be able to find you, Ruben.
I'm sorry?
I just wanted to be able to find you. Can you
Okay.
raise your digital hand in the air or wave it at me?
I can let me
You
actually.
find it?
Waving his hands on the camera.
I see it. I see it. Perfect.
Good.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi. I just left the U.S. Department of Transportation, where I was for 3 years and making loans to transit agencies and railroads and ports. And I took the offer,
You took the buyout.
Okay.
voluntary resignation.
Yep.
And then I started searching. I decided, well, what, all right. So I started searching. And I'm I'm an older gentleman, to put it one way. I'm not getting a lot of traction. I mean, yeah, I had a couple situations where they said, yeah, maybe there's probably a consulting role for you and it's coming up around the corner, blah, blah, blah. So, a couple possibilities, but considering I've been at it now for 5 months, it's not a huge return on time invested. I've been contacting people I've been networking pretty widely.
Mm-hmm.
with people I know and expanding my network.
Good.
Okay.
But still not getting traction, to put it simply. I mean,
Do you have target
I just,
companies? Do you
I'm
have
sorry.
do you have target companies in mind, specific places you're looking to go, or is it just kind of like a throwing it out there and hoping for the best?
Or do
Well,
you have even specific targeted kinds of jobs that
Right.
you're
I'm
looking
just
for?
kind of,
Because
you're right.
sometimes it's not targeted companies, sometimes it's targeted
Targeted
jobs.
jobs.
well, I spent 35 plus years in equipment leasing, equipment finance.
Right.
So
Okay.
I've been targeting work with the top 100. I haven't yet top 50 equipment leasing companies,
Okay, good.
Okay.
bank owned, I have
Not just,
credit underwriting experience, so I've been
yep.
reaching out to banks where so yeah, I have a target. I have target companies, yes.
And do you know people at those companies? Have you done a search online for the top um, small to medium-sized companies in your space to get a list of those companies as well? I mean, I'm just kind of thinking of things to do besides
Yeah,
that.
I mean, also for example, we use financial advisors at the bureau,
Uh-huh.
and I've connected with the people I worked with, when I was an underwriter, and we had a financial advisor, like, those are small consulting
Did they give
boutiques.
you any, did they give
I
you any
Go ahead.
career coaching or advising or anything when you were retired or had a buyout as to things that you would have had available to yourself?
Mm,
To the
Was I offered? I'm sorry, was I offered
Did you
that?
offer
Is
anything?
that
I'm
what
just asking, like I said. Were you offered anything?
No,
No.
Okay.
If
no,
that
the
doesn't
US
make any
government
sense.
did not offer anything.
Okay.
Okay. So a couple of other things. In addition to the major leasing companies, major banks also do that kind of financing.
Yes.
Okay. I would look at major organizations, manufacturing organizations that do whatever the products were that you were leasing. Many of those will have their own internal arms or can tell you the companies
Yeah,
that they've worked
like
with.
Caterpillar, John Deere.
Correct. Okay.
I've networked with people there.
Right. So when you say you're
Our
networking with them,
yeah.
what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I
Is
was
it
gonna
just
say
adding
that.
them to your LinkedIn profile, or are you actually having conversations?
I start either if I have people I know there, I reach out and tell them I just left the U.S. Department of Transportation and I'm looking for full-time, part-time, contract. I'm flexible as to this arrangement, but I
So
have
you're reaching
financial
out asking
skills.
for a job as opposed to asking them for advice and information. They're two different things.
I do not. I don't ask them for a job in their organization.
Okay, so you're asking.
I tell them what I'm looking for, and then I say, would you have suggestions for people I should speak to? I
That's the
don't
right
ask
way.
them for a job at their organization,
That's the right way. Are you getting responses?
but I do describe what I'm looking for.
That's okay.
I left out that part. Sorry.
Have you
Okay.
considered
Yeah, I'm talking to John.
Have you considered writing recommendations or recommending other people that you used to work with as a way to get back in touch with them? Besides that, again, another thing to think about.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're saying you're not getting responses or traction when you're sending out resumes, are you targeting those resumes each time, focusing in on what you can do for them, highlighting the accomplishments, or is it a generic resume you're sending out each time?
Generally generic.
Generic isn't going to get you anywhere in
It's
this
not
life.
going to work.
Period. You can't do that. You have to target your resume every time for that particular company, that particular job. You have to highlight up at the top of that resume the accomplishments that you bring that are related to that job, not everything you've done, but everything that you've done or things that you've done that match what they need. Okay. And you have to talk about right up top the skills or expertise that you bring that match their job.
And have you ever done a search on LinkedIn for a job title based on experience level to see what companies are looking for?
Yep. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
There are
I have I have job search lists that come to me from LinkedIn from my searches.
no, that's not what we're
That's not
saying.
it.
Okay.
We're saying
ahead.
go to LinkedIn, go to the search engine at the
Yeah.
top. Type the job title that you want. Then you can break it down by experience level. And then forgetting this is not about applying for a job, but then look at what the jobs that come up, what their specs are, and then say, how have you done that?
Correct.
Just in a very general way. And you can base it on salary too. There's all different criteria. This is just to give you an idea of what companies are looking for, and that it'll help you position your resume.
Yes, exactly. And it'll also help you position your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you could use, and not that we want to say this, but you could use ChatGPT, and you could ask ChatGPT the question, I'm looking for a job in A, B, C, D, and D. What would you recommend my about section be like? Or to position myself, or just kind of give you some thoughts if you haven't done that. I mean, we use that as a reference tool. It doesn't hurt.
But remember, ChatGPT is a tool to give you ideas. It is
Exactly. No,
not
it's
to
an
substitute
idea. It's a
anything that you
starting
write.
point. It's not your resume, but it'll give you ideas.
Okay. Always has to be you.
Just
It's not
things to
just
think about. Yeah.
And Michael, you're right. The cover letter has to be customized for the target position, but your resume each and every time. I will tell you that you've got 2 to 9 seconds to grab my attention as a recruiter, as a hiring manager. And if I'm not seeing something that matches what I'm looking for at the top of your resume, I may not take the time to read further. I know it takes more time, but you want to make sure you're
So
spending your time in the
even
right
when
way.
just connecting with someone who, I haven't been in touch with 3 years, but is it an equipment leasing company, or is that a bank, or is that John Deere?
Are you sending them a resume without their asking for it as a connection request?
No.
No. So if they're asking for it,
Yes.
then you say, here's my generic resume. If you've got a position in your company, I'm happy to customize it to show you what I can do for you. But you only send the resume to that networking contact if they ask.
I get a lot of I'm not aware of anything, or I don't know who you should speak to.
Right. And I'm sure you will. Okay.
I mean, I would also say go to professional networking groups that are in your space, and they're all around.
And not just professional networking groups, the job search groups like these or any of the others that are in
Right,
your
but I'm
area.
just saying in general, go out to those, and whether it's an alumni association where you went to school or anything like that. I
Right.
mean, you cast as wide a net as you can from a networking standpoint, because you never know who knows who.
And I would also go to professional organizations.
Yeah, that's
Now, I know that
exactly.
from the government space, they may not have them, but there are lots of equipment leasing organizations out there, or there should be. So do a check for organizations,
Do
professional
a search
organizations.
on Google for networking groups in your space and see what shows up.
Yep. And not just networking groups, but also professional organizations.
Right, but the idea is
Same
the
thing.
same. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But it's just a different search term. Okay. So I would do all of that. Perfect.
I mean, there is an equipment leasing finance. ELFA is the major. If we're talking
Okay.
about equipment leasing, ELFA, Equipment Leasing Finance Association, is the major trade group.
So do
Then
they have a
that's somebody you want
company?
to get
Do they
a
have a
hold of.
company page on LinkedIn? Do they have resources
Oh
there?
yeah, they have a page on LinkedIn. I'm
I
sure.
have no doubt you're doing everything we're suggesting.
Right.
I'm not,
Yeah.
if
We're
you
just
want to have
giving
a
you-
conversation, yeah, we're giving you
Right.
advice.
And
No,
not only
no,
that, we're
that's
hoping that
why
it's advice that other people can use in their space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So with that organization, if they've got that group on LinkedIn, you not only want to be part of that, you also want to then connect with people in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are great connection people to talk with because they understand the industry.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm so I'm talking. Maybe I'm talking to a lot of people, or getting, making them aware I exist. I mean, some of them may realize I'm 70 years old, and
Okay.
their answer
So,
may be colored by that.
okay.
I'm not bitching. I mean,
No,
maybe colored by that. I mean,
no
I
one
am.
is.
I'm 70 years old. I'll be
Maybe
71.
the idea is
you know.
to mentor, be a mentor to other places. Maybe the answer is to think about putting out your own shingle, do consulting. I don't know. I mean, these are the things you want to ask
Yeah.
yourself.
Okay.
Yep. Contracting work, there are lots of different ways that you can get involved. And I will tell you that, yes, some people are going to see age as a barrier, but others are going to see it as a value.
You know, you can maybe take an 8 to 10 week assignment, become like that person that does multiple projects at the same time. But again, it's about letting people know that, you
Right.
know, it depends on what your comfort level is.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Good luck.
Thank
Keep
you.
coming back to us.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Worried
Okay.
about whatever. So I'm going to say that we're going to close this down.
Good. I was going to say, because I have to jump anyway soon. Get ready for the holiday like you do, I'm sure.
I do. And actually, I have something that came up that I absolutely have to do before that anyway. But yes, I'm going to wish you and everybody else who observes an easy and a
Easy.
meaningful fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And a sweet and healthy new year.
Yes, definitely.
I am taking, after this is done today, I will be offline in about another hour or so and won't come back again until
Tomorrow night.
Exactly. Okay.
Yep. Hear you so well.
Thank you, folks.
Take care.
Thank you
Thanks. Have a
all.
good week. Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you all too. Remember to copy the chat. Thank you, Ken, for your help.
Thank you.
Sure.
David, did you get the chat? Okay. Opshana, do you have the chat?